espere, ya.
Estamos con John Moral y Paul Block en el seminario de promoción de páginas web. Vamos a hacer una pregunta a John. La pregunta tiene que ver con una empresa que quiere realizar una página web. Ellos producen ropa infantil para bebés, quieren exportar a Canadá, España e Italia, pero su gerente tiene miedo de que le copien sus diseños, especialmente en el mercado local. Well, the first question, what would you recommend to create a website for a company which produces baby clothing? And his manager is afraid that if he puts a catalog online, some of your competitors, local competitors, will copy their designs.
Designs of the products?
Yes.
Of the baby clothing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think you should always go out based on your own strength. So you should not be afraid of your competition. So if you have a feeling that your designs, your products are good like it is now, don't be afraid to show it. Even if competitors will see it, and even if they will copy it, as long as you have the first moving advantage. I'm not sure if that term says anything to you, but that means that if you're the first company to introduce a product into the market, then it's very difficult for other companies to catch up.
Okay.
So my advice will be definitely show it, because without showing a product, people will not buy it.
Okay.
So it's important to show it, and other companies will have a hard time copying it.
Okay.
I'm sure of it.
And what do you think about to export, or what would be the recommendations for export to Canada, Italy, and Spain, especially?
With the baby clothing?
Yes, baby clothing.
Okay. Exporting. Well, of course, is to investigate the local culture, because if you're selling baby clothing to Canada, which
yes.
is more like an American culture, they are looking at completely different things for baby clothing. They don't like a frivolous. You know, understand the word frivolous? They don't like frivolous clothing. It should be functional.
Okay.
Not too many bright colors, etc., etc. But if you go into Italy, it's a different world, because Italians, you know, they like to show themselves. Exactly.
Yeah.
So the clothing should be more fashionable. You can use more bright colors, etc., etc. So from a producing point of view, think about that when you're creating the clothing. From a communication point of view, I think if you're doing business with Canada and compared to doing business with Italy, in both instances it's very important that you show the products on the website, and more importantly to show what other people are writing about it. Because when they see someone writing about it, I bought this clothing and my kid loves it and he looks really cool, okay. Blah 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 blah. So the user reviews, then that will help other site visitors to decide, okay, I'm going to buy that product.
Okay, that's very, very good. And another question, one strategy could be the best for a jewelry company who wants to export to Chile.
To Chile?
¿Cuál sería unas recomendaciones para una empresa de joyería en Bucaramanga que quiere exportar hacia Chile? Of course, using a website, por supuesto usando un sitio web.
Well, first of all, you need a website. That's obvious. Second of all, of course, you need to show the jewelry really well. And the problem with jewelry is usually they just put it on the table, make a picture of it, and show that on the website.
Yes.
But you should always show jewelry the way it's used. So wear the jewelry yourself, take a picture, because then people will have a feeling on how it looks on a human body, right? So if you're trying to sell jewelry, wear it yourself, take a picture so that people see how it looks around a bracelet around the arm, a necklace around the neck. Take a picture of that and show that on the website.
Okay.
Just putting it on the table, it's completely impersonal. People have a hard time to see how it should look on a body.
How it looks like.
Exactly.
Okay.
So after that, and once you have a website and you want to export to Chile, for instance, start, for instance, with AdWords, because that's a great way with a limited budget to try and get clients from Chile, because you can geo-target. Remember what I told you yesterday? Just having the Chileans, when they search Google on jewelry, in Spanish of course, that your ad shows up, try to get visitors to your website, and then sales will automatically happen.
Okay. And another question would be related for tourists here in Santander. What will be the best targets or the best markets or to be attractive to promote Santander in Bucaramanga in Europe? ¿Cuáles serían los mercados más atractivos para promocionar el turismo en Santander?
I can be quite short about that, and that is adventurous travel. Right now, if you look at in Europe and in America, the reason why they come to the Santander region is for their parasailing, the rock climbing, so all the adventurous travel. But I think you're already very famous for that. So if you're looking at opportunities, so maybe options for the future to even increase the popularity of the region, if I'm talking about ourselves, what we really noticed when we came here is the beautiful nature around us. It's the nice hills, it's the nice towns, the green city, which is a big difference if you compare it to Bogota.
Okay.
So what you can say if you want to promote Bucaramanga, it's like nature in a city.
Okay.
You know, and if you go to Bogota, you go to a city, but if you go to Bucaramanga, you still have all the amenities the city has to offer, but in a quiet, nice, green surrounding. Okay. And I think that's a very good, how do you say that, advantage for European travelers.
And I have heard that cultural tourism is another aim or another attractive for some Europeans. Otra cosa que hemos oído es que el turismo cultural es algo interesante para algunos europeos. What do you think about it?
I agree, because if people only go on holiday because of the nature, because how nice it looks and everything, there's millions of places in the world they can go. But what you see now is that people want to have a little bit more of an ancient feel. So they want to see the cultures, the local culture. That's why they go to Greece. You know, they can see the Pantheon. I'm not sure if you know them. It's like the big temples, old temples, but it's cultural. Exactly. Okay. And I think what a lot of people don't know, and I think that especially this region should promote more, is that there is a rich colonial, ancient cultural heritage here. Giron, Barichara, exactly. Okay. The only reason I know about that is because I knew I was going here, so I did some research about the region, and then I found out that, for example, Barichara is one of the oldest colonial towns in Colombia. So I had no idea before that. So if you promote that more towards European travelers, that might be a reason for them to enjoy a beautiful nature, and of course having some great culture, nice old colonial towns, etc., etc.
Okay, and last question is about how do you see the trends for the internet in Latin America? Una última pregunta sería, ¿cómo ve usted las tendencias de internet en Latinoamérica?
What exactly do you mean with that?
Well, I mean the growth, I mean the business that doing in the internet and the e-commerce and something like that. Tiene que ver con el comercio electrónico, con todos los trabajos, los negocios que se están haciendo en Latinoamérica. ¿Cómo está creciendo ese mercado? It's growing that market.
Okay, yeah, it is definitely growing. It's growing in two ways. One way is that what you see is in Latin America, more people are using the internet, so it's growing faster than, for instance, in Europe, which already what we call saturated growth. So almost everyone in Europe already has internet, so the growth is slowing down. But what you see in Latin America is that the growth is going very fast. So maybe a couple of more years and you're at the same level as Europe. I'm convinced that will happen. Okay. So that's from the user point of view. But from the other point of view, what I've noticed is that, for instance, internet companies, is that in Europe a lot of companies are looking now towards Latin American companies, because there's a number of really great advertising agencies, internet agencies, because they're very creative, they're very good in design in Latin America. So what you see is that a lot of companies are now looking towards Latin American agencies to put their business with. So I think that's one of the big trends that we will see in the coming years as well. That a lot of companies are actually doing their outsourcing towards Latin America.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Bueno, muchas gracias para Paul y para Jorn, y volveremos nuevamente en otra oportunidad. Gracias.
It was my pleasure.